A player just told Newcastle United, no. Straight up rejected them, chose someone else instead. And that someone else? United. But that's not even the biggest story today, because while that rejection was happening, an 18-year-old was quietly landing in Manchester. No fanfare, no announcement, just a kid, a chief scout, and a medical waiting to happen. And that signing might end up being more important than anyone realises. 3 stories, 1 transfer window that's moving faster than United fans can keep up with. And by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly how all 3 connect. Let's get into it. But hold on, because while all of that midfield chaos was unfolding, Fabrizio Romano just dropped something that changes the entire Rashford story we thought we knew. And it's the complete opposite of what everyone expected. Romano is reporting that United have had direct contact with Rashford's camp. Not through intermediaries, not through agents playing games in the press, direct, amicable, calm conversations. And here's the part that should genuinely shock you. United are open to welcoming him back to training, back into the building, after everything, after the exile, after Ratcliffe reportedly being desperate to get him off the wage bill, after Barcelona, after the loan, after months of assuming this was over. United are opening the door again. And Marcus, Romano says he is open too. Open to starting pre-season under Michael Carrick. Actually showing up. Actually trying again. Think about how wild that sentence is. The same player Tottenham wanted. The same player Paul Scholes was publicly pushing toward Arsenal. The same player whose wages were about to hit $325,000 a week, supposedly making him impossible to keep. And now he might just walk back through the front door at Carrington. But before you get too excited, Romano is also clear about something important. There is no guarantee he stays. This isn't a confirmed reunion. This isn't a contract renewal. Romano specifically says any bids that come in will still be considered later. This is not United closing the market on Rashford. So what is this then? What's actually happening here? This is trust building. That's the actual phrase being used. An important step to rebuild trust between the two sides. Because remember, this relationship didn't break down over nothing. There was real tension, real distance, words said that couldn't easily be taken back. You don't fix that with one phone call, but you do fix it by starting somewhere. And apparently, that somewhere is pre-season training under Carrick. So picture this scenario. Rashford walks back in, trains under a manager he's never actually played a full season for, shows what he can do. And if it goes well, maybe he stays. Maybe this entire transfer saga just quietly resolves itself. And if it doesn't go well, United already have their answer ready. Bids get considered. The exit happens anyway, just on a different timeline. Either way, this is the biggest twist in the Rashford story all summer. Nobody saw this coming. Not after everything we just told you. Keep this one in your head as we move through the rest of today's update. Because the timing of this, right in the middle of United's other rebuilding plans, tells you a lot about how unpredictable this squad is shaping up to be. We start with the midfield, because this situation has just taken a brutal twist for one of United's Premier League rivals. Felix Nmecha, Borussia Dortmund's German international, currently shining at the World Cup. Tall, athletic, technically composed, the kind of midfielder who looks like he was built in a lab for the modern game. And reports from Bild confirm something that should make United fans sit up straight. Newcastle made their move. They tried to get in there. Real interest, real contact, the kind of approach a club only makes when they're serious. And Nmecha said no. He's reportedly rebuffed Newcastle's advances completely because he'd rather join United or Manchester City instead. Let that sink in for a second. A player being chased by a Premier League club with serious financial backing behind them, and he's looking past them, straight toward Old Trafford. That's not nothing. That's a statement about where this player actually wants his career to go next. But here's where it gets interesting. The price. Dortmund's official valuation is eye-watering. £103 million. That's the headline number being thrown around publicly in every report. But then, a twist nobody saw coming. Sources are now suggesting Dortmund could actually sell him for under 86 million. That's a £17 million gap between what's being said publicly and what might actually get this deal done behind closed doors. Classic transfer window theatre. Talk big to the cameras, negotiate smaller in the room. Every club in Europe plays this game, and Dortmund are no different. And here's the kicker. His World Cup form is only pushing that price up by the day. Every good performance, every assist, every man of the match adds zeros to the eventual fee. So United know the clock is ticking. The longer this drags on, the more expensive Nmecha becomes. Wait too long, and that 86 million figure could be ancient history by August. But Nmecha isn't even United's only midfield player right now, because there's a second name moving fast, and this one's even more unexpected. Alex Scott. Bournemouth's 22-year-old, sharp on the ball, comfortable carrying possession, exactly the kind of profile modern midfields are built around. And United are reportedly growing increasingly optimistic they can actually get this deal done. That phrase matters. Clubs don't use language like growing increasingly optimistic in briefings unless something real is genuinely happening behind the scenes. That's not throwaway noise, that's a deliberate signal. But here's where it gets tense. Bournemouth have already rejected approaches, not just from United, from Arsenal too. Two Premier League heavyweights, both turned away, both coming back for more anyway, refusing to take no for an answer. Bournemouth's price? £80 million minimum before they'll even properly engage in serious talks. United's opening offer? Reportedly closer to 60. A £20 million gap. That's not small. That's the kind of gap that kills deals outright or drags them out for weeks while both sides wait for the other to blink. And then Liverpool entered the chat too. Their manager worked with Scott before, at Bournemouth itself. There's an existing relationship there, a trust factor United simply don't have, and one that could prove decisive if this turns into a genuine three-way race. So now you've got three big clubs, one talented 22-year-old, and a valuation that nobody seems ready to actually pay yet. Pure stalemate for now. But here's the part that should worry United fans the most. Reports suggest United might scrap their Fernandes pursuit entirely and pivot straight into Scott instead. Read that again. Properly read it. A genuine switch. Not adding Scott to the list as a backup option, replacing Fernandes with him completely. Why would United do that? Because Tottenham are pushing hard for Fernandes. Hard enough, with enough financial muscle behind it, that United are reportedly reconsidering the entire chase from scratch. So now you've got a midfield rebuild that was supposed to be relatively simple on paper, sign Fernandes, move on, job done, turning into a genuine multi-name chess match instead. Nmecha, Scott, Fernandes. All connected, all competing for the exact same chunk of transfer budget. Keep that triangle in your head, because it explains exactly why United needed to get smart in a completely different part of the market at the same time. And that's where our final story comes in, the one most fans haven't even noticed yet. Because while all that midfield chaos plays out in public, splashed across headlines every single day, United just quietly completed something special. And almost nobody's talking about it. Cristian Orozco. 18 years old in just 3 weeks, a Colombian midfielder, and he has just landed in England. Not rumoured, not in talks, landed. Physically in Manchester right now as this video goes out. He agreed this move all the way back in September last year, long before any of today's headlines about Nmecha or Scott even existed. But there was one problem standing in the way. He wasn't old enough yet. United had to wait for him to turn 18 before they could even officially register the transfer. Months and months of patience for a player most fans have never even heard of, let alone seen play. And now he's flown in alongside United's chief scout personally, not handed off to an agent, not left to figure it out alone, accompanied every step of the way. Medical incoming. Deal about to be finalised for real after months of waiting in the background. Here's the detail that should make you pay attention. people inside the game are already comparing him to Moises Caicedo. Caicedo, the midfielder Chelsea paid over £100 million for, one of the most expensive defensive midfielders in Premier League history. That's the level of player United believe they're getting, quietly, patiently, for a fraction, and I mean a genuine fraction, of what Nmecha or Scott would eventually cost. The plan right now is simple, sensible, no fuss. Under 21s first. Let him settle into a new country, a new language, a new style of football. Let him adapt at his own pace without the pressure of a first-team spotlight from day one. But here's the twist that changes the timeline. With Michael Carrick juggling Champions League football next season, fixtures piling up fast, squad rotation becoming essential rather than optional, domestic cup minutes could open up sooner than anyone currently expects. This kid could be involved far quicker than the official development plan suggests on paper. Carabao Cup nights, FA Cup replays, the kind of fixtures where young talent often gets its first taste of senior football. Think about what that actually means when you zoom out. While United fight tooth and nail in public for Nmecha and Scott, paying 80, 90, possibly over £100 million in transfer fees, they've also just secured a teenager compared to a Chelsea superstar for a deal that barely made a single headline anywhere. That's smart recruitment, plain and simple. Not just headline chasing for the sake of it, building for right now and building for 3 years down the line at the exact same time on two completely different budgets. So let's bring this together properly. Nmecha, rejecting Newcastle outright, eyes firmly on United, price gap narrowing fast as his World Cup stock keeps climbing with every passing match. Scott, 3 big clubs circling at once, a £20 million price gap still to close, and United reportedly willing to drop Fernandes entirely just to get this one over the line before a rival does. And Orozco, the quiet one, the one nobody's shouting about on the back pages, already in Manchester, already compared to a £100 million midfielder, already, for all intents and purposes, United's. 3 players, 3 completely different price tags, 3 completely different timelines, but all part of the same midfield rebuild, all pulling in the same direction, even when it doesn't look that way from the outside. This is what a genuinely serious football club looks like during a transfer window. Not chasing one name and hoping it works out. Building layers. Layer for right now, layer for soon, layer for years from now. All at once, all under the same roof. So what do you think? Should United drop Fernandes completely and go all in on Scott instead? Is Nmecha actually worth fighting for at that price, even with the gap between the public number and the real one? And is Orozco the real hidden gem buried underneath all of this noise? Let me know below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Manchester United updates here on RedBreak. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.